Hi, Alex here from Rebeloper.com and welcome back to the channel. Now in this video I am going to show you how easily you can theme your apps. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Okay, so we are going to theme our app finally with the help of RxTheme. And don't worry if you are not familiar with reactive programming. We are going to slightly talk about it and we are going to use it, but there's not much more complex syntax than you would expect it to be. So I will guide you through it. No worries about the Rx factor of our RxTheme. So RxTheme is an awesome GitHub repository that we will use to theme our app. So let me just build and run our test project so you can see what we are going to build out today. And yeah, in modern apps you might have a light theme and a dark theme, and I have this set up here just for testing purposes with a navigation bar title and an item and our switch. This switch is by the way a custom made UI switch that you can take a look at in the previous video if you haven't done already so. And here we have a button that has a border. Now the main thing here is then when I hit this switch, it will switch to the dark mode. So let's do that. Ooh, awesome. And let's switch back to our light mode, back to dark mode, whichever you would like. Now, these are some sort of corner situations. So let's dive into it and let's build it out. And hopefully by the end of this video you will learn everything you need to know to theme your app. And of course this doesn't need to be only light or dark, it could be even 3 or 4 themes. So before we add those 3 or 4, let's just start off with 2 and let us just create a brand new Xcode project. So there we go. Brand new Xcode project, and I will be using our single view app from Rebeloper. Go ahead and take a look at the channel to find out how you can grab that. So let's name this, let's say RxTheme tutorial. Okay, let's click on the next and let's put it under here under code, and I will create a Git repository and I will also push it up to GitHub so you may see all of the final code and of course how it all went through. So let's create this. You can find the link to the GitHub repository down below in the description, where also you will find all of the necessary assets for this project, because we will have some assets, and let's take a look at them here quickly. We have 2 code snippets, one colors Xcode asset, and this navigation and bar button item settings PNG file that we will use for the navigation item. Okay, so let's just quickly set up this project. First of all, let's copy these 2 code snippets. Let's copy these 2 items, and now let's go to our library. If you don't have this library set on, go ahead and click on Alt, and your library will be presented, and select developer and Xcode and user data code snippets and just paste it in, and there I already have that, so I will replace both of them. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back and let's find our colors asset and let's simply drag and drop it into our Xcode project. Let's finish that and open up the assets, Xcode asset, and drag and drop the navigation bar button item settings PNG file. Okay, what we need to do now is basically close it, because I want to install tiny constraints so I can better constrain those buttons, switches and so on our view. So what we need to do now is go to our root folder of our project and open up terminal and type in cd and the space. This is basic stuff. Drag and drop the root folder of your project, hit return, type in pod install. For some reason, not pod install, pod init, because first of all we need to initialize our pod file. Okay, so now that we do have our pod file, let's open it up in Xcode. And first of all, we want to get rid of iOS 9, make it iOS 12. And I will just copy and paste some basic things, because this is just set up from the tutorial, or from the testing. And basically, first of all, I will copy and paste these pod files. There we go, RxTheme 3.3.0, tiny constraints 400. So now let us just close this, and now let's run a pod install. I'm just using the up arrow key to navigate through the commands that I already typed in. So hit return there. It's installing RxCocoa, RxSwift, and of course RxTheme. These first two are needed for RxTheme, and of course we have tiny constraints. There we go. We have our workspace ready. So from now on, we are going to work in that. Let's just resize this so you may see better. And let's go to our root view controller. Now this is a basic root view controller. Let's just add in our elements, and I will again copy and paste them, but I will go through what I'm doing with you. So first of all, let's import RxTheme and tiny constraints. Let's minimize this, add that in there. Okay. Second, I want to add a bar button item, our theme switch, which is really awesome, and I have borrowed it from the previous video, and our did chain theme switch value. These three functions will be enough for now. So let me just go and before our view did load, let's add those two, and I will comment out this theme service switch dark and switch light. We will talk about that later on. As you can really guess, this is where we will switch the themes. Okay, let's go further. We have UI button. Let's just copy and paste that in too. And finally, we need some setup views and our setup theme. So let's just copy these two and add them in our view did load. There we go. And finally, let's set up our views. Again, I will just copy and paste this. Go ahead, and if you want to take a look at it deeper, I'm just setting the title, right by button, and setting up our theme switch and of the button. Okay, and finally we need our setup theme function. So let's add that right below, and I will make this a file private. I believe this was file private too. Yes, it was. So file private func and setup theme. Okay, now that we do have this all set up, maybe we should build and run and see how that looks. So just so we have a rough idea of where we are in the setup. Of course, we are already having RxTheme inside our application, so that is a good thing. So there we go. We have a dark background that is of course needed to be set with RxTheme, so that is why we have a button here, and we have here the default bluish icon and hello RxTheme. Of course, none of the switches work at the moment, so we are going to get there real soon. So what do we need to create a theme? First of all, let us just create a new file called, it will be a Swift file, and it will be called theme. Okay, I will remove this. Okay, and let's create it. There we go. Here we have our theme. Now, if you recall, we have added code snippets, and you can find the code snippets right up here if you wanted to. And here we have our RxTheme code snippet and our RxTheme Plus theme snippet. So if you don't have this button or you can't see it, just simply hit Command Shift and L and the library will pop up. So we are going to use this RxTheme code snippet right now. Let's just delete this import foundation, hit Command Shift L and just simply double click on that. Okay, so what you have here is a basic setup for our theme. We are importing RxSwift, RxTheme. We are creating type aliases so we can use them later on in our theme and in our structs, and light theme and dark theme. And we are setting up our theme provider, and we are creating a theme service that we will use in just a moment. So yeah, that is that. Now let us just jump right into our first setup, and that is the background. So let's create a background. So var background color, and it will be of type color, and let's get it. So type in into these parentheses get. Okay, and as you can see, we want to have rid of these red warnings. So let's add our background color for the light theme and the dark theme. So what we want to do is type in a let and background color equals, hit Command Shift M now, and that will bring up the media library. And I will have for the light theme, the background color should be this white. Okay, do the same for the dark theme, but now we are going to add in with Command Shift M again our black color. Okay, now that we have the setup of our theme, now we want to basically use it. So how do we do that? Let's go back to our root view controller and scroll all the way down here under Setup Theme, and we have our views background color, but we have on our view now something called theme. Basically it's a theme proxy that we have created a few minutes ago. So type in view theme, and that will have an observable called background color. Don't worry about what is an observable or what not. Just know that this is our views background color, how we need to fetch it with RxTheme. So equals themed, and have these two parentheses, and this will be a little bit strange for those of you who don't know reactive programming, but just go with the convention. So $0 and a dot, and then you will have a list of all of your colors that you have preset. So background color is the only one, so that is that. And yeah, that is basically it, how to set the theme of our background color. So where do we actually know which type of theme is set when we launch our app? Well, that is set in our theme Swift file. If you scroll all the way down, there is a theme service, and you can see the initial is lite. Okay, so let's do that because we already know that the background is currently black. Because we did not set a background color. That is the basic color of a UI view controller. And now it should be white. So running it, and let's see now. There we go. And now we have a white. Okay, that is great. Just for testing purposes, let's add in here dark. Okay, that is the dark theme. And let's build and run again, and now we should see the black background. There we go. Simple as that. Let's just change this back to lite, because that is how we want to our app to launch. Now, let's just quickly fix the switch, and yeah, you just simply need to type in theme service switch to dark, or theme service switch to light. And of course, we are switching these themes according to our theme switches is on property. If it is on, then we are using the dark theme. If it is off, then we are using the light theme. Of course, as you can see in the switch setup, we haven't set is on at all. So by default, the switch is set to off, and that is a good thing, because on the off version of our switch, it should be a light. So let's build and run again, and now the switch should work on the background. So let's see that, and let's switch it. Great. There we go. It's kind of looks real nice. So it's about time that we move on to some other stuff, and that is the navigation, because as you can see, I'm switching over, but the navigation bar still stays the same, the white. Of course, we need to take care of that next. So let me just go and take a look at our test, because in our theme I have already set up our colors here, and let me just copy this out, and then I will just talk about a little bit about the attributes. So yeah, I'm not going to type that in, because it's a kind of waste of time. Okay, there we go. We have our navigation bar tint color, navigation bar tint color, and the difference is between that is that the bar tint color is the tint color of the bar, and the tint color is basically what will tint the elements inside the bar tint color, and that is the title or the item, the navigation bar button item. Now, navigation bar title text attributes, and we are going to add some text attributes. So let's just do that right now so you may understand. And you can see we have a foreground color for our text attributes. Again, I'm sorry for the bar tint color, that is just for the items, the text. This is how you do that. Okay, so let's just copy this out and paste it for the light theme, and do the same for the dark theme. Okay, you already know the drill, how you need to do this. I'm just doing copy pasting for the brevity of this tutorial. So now that we have our navigation bar tint color, and title text attributes, we are using NS attributed string key foreground color, and this attributes is set up here. Okay, so yeah, you could use these without these type aliases. Okay, so what we need to do next is go into our root view controller, and again I'm going to just copy and paste this and explain that to you, because it's basically the nearly the same as we did with our background color. Okay, first of all, we need a non-optional navigation controller. So we are if-led unwrapping it, and then we are accessing its navigation bar and its theme bar tint color, same as with the views theme background color. Now we have our tint color the same, and our title text attributes the same. So let's build and run and see how this looks like, and hopefully we will have some awesome navigation bar theme. Okay, first of all, you can see that this is black, and the Hello RxTheme is kind of black, but do trust me, this is not the same black as the black, the true black that it comes with a default navigation bar. So let's just test it out. White, black and black. Oh, that is real cool. So now that we have taken care of this navigation controller, or basically the navigation bar theme, let's take a look at this one, the button, because it's not really changing, of course. So we are going to take a look at this one because we are going to build out some awesome stuff. But as you can see, we have under theme a bar tint color, background color, and there are a lot of properties that you can see in UI Kit. But in some cases, that is not the case, but RxTheme can be extended really easily, and that is what we are going to do now. But before we do that, let us just go ahead and see what we are going to theme on the button. So first of all, we can see that we have our background color, title color, and border color. For those, let's just create our colors first. So I would just quickly copy and paste everything. Again, let's go into theme and paste it in there. And as you can see, we have a difference here. Our border color is a CG color, and that is because our buttons layers border color is actually a CG color. So we need to add a CG color there, but no problem. Let's add a CG color, and as you can see, that is how we add a CG color. We just append a .cg color to our UR color. Simple as that. Okay, let's just paste that in there, and let's take care of our dark theme too. I'm just simply switching between the black and white colors. Very simple. Okay, now we want to basically call all of these colors in the setup theme, and again, that is real simple. And I'm just going to, well, I shouldn't copy and paste this, but just hang on with me and I will explain how that title color works, because that is the main difference here. So we need to take a look in detail at that, because it's kind of different. So the theme, buttons, theme, background color, the same. Title color. So here under theme title color, it's kind of strange because it says from and for, and it's for a normal state and from, and here we have our theme as usual setup. We have a missing border color here, and yeah, that is why we need to create an extension, because under theme for the button we do have a background color, we do have a title color, but we don't have a border color inside the RxTheme library. So what we are going to do is expand it and create a border color property here. So before, yeah, I won't comment this out, maybe if we need to. So what we need to do is create a new file, hit Command and select Swift file, click on Next, and let's just type in here RxTheme plus. So we are extending it. Let's create it, and now it's time to take a look at the second code snippet that we are going to use to create extensions of RxTheme. So again, Command Shift L to bring that up, and here we have RxTheme plus. So double click on that, and it should add in this. Again, we might have an extension for our border color, but there might be something else that you want to extend upon. So I have created this code snippet in mind, and you can see here we have some things that we need to add to create this extension. So here is a simple example. Themed class is a UI button, so let's copy that, and yes, it is a UI button that we want to extend, and you need to add all the way down. So this is the whole two extensions, by basically a reactive and a theme proxy extension. So let's add this theme class there too, and that's it for the theme class. Now the themable is the border color. Now that is what you want to extend upon. So let's add themable there, 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 and there. That took quite some. And finally, we need to, let's go here, typeable, themable type. And that is a CG color, of course, because the border color of our UI buttons layer is a CG color. So themable type here and here. And we still have all of these because we still need to import RxSwift and import RxTheme. Okay, so some of these will go away. And themable type, yeah, themable type, CG color. Sorry for that mistake there. I'm sure you pretty easily noticed that. Okay, and maybe we need to import here RxCoco too, okay, for this binder. Okay, the themed is our button actually, so a button. And that is it for the whole setup. Now we need to connect the border color with the button, and that is simple. Just type in here button dot layer dot border color, and that is again the property, and it's not this one. And let's add in here our border color. You can see we have these. These are the same. Border color is a property of this, border color is a property of our layer. And that is it. If you want to change the border color to something else, you just follow the same pattern. Okay. And again, don't forget to import RxSwift and RxCoco and RxTheme here. Okay, let's go back to our root view controller, and this should go away. There we go. And now finally we can test out one last time by hitting Command R our project. And yeah, let's just stop this because I saw a little mistake. Let's just get out that button theme customization out of the if let statement and put it there. Okay, so let's build and run one final time and see all of this in action. So this is the lite theme, and let's just do that. Awesome. Okay, and this example covers basically 99% of all use cases. You can do labels, text views, backgrounds, and so on with the help of RxTheme. Again, go ahead and take a look at their repository. It's super, super awesome. And hey, you got to code reactively a little bit. It's not that scary. You just follow the same patterns and you will be okay. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and of course, you know what to do when you want to get notified instantly of new videos. You need to hit that notification bell. And as always, I will see you in the next one.